I'm Joe Chille. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Weck. Joining us on the Big Weck Buffalo on the Rise is Craig Willoughby from Willoughby Insurance. Craig, how you doing?
Good, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Listen to that voice. He's got those dulcet tones. Willoughby will when nobody will. I mean, it's such a great catchphrase, such a great line, and you've got some real history in the insurance business, you and your family here in the area, right?
Yeah, my grandfather, Walter Willoughby, started the agency back in 1952. Over, 80 years ago? 72 years ago, I think it is. He started an insurance agency when he came back from the war. He served in World War II. He was up and posted in Niagara Falls. Came back, wanted to run his own insurance agency after working for the insurance companies, and he opened his own agency on Minnesota Avenue, right in Buffalo. He ran out of there for a few years, and then eventually he got an office on Main Street near Minnesota, and then he moved to Maine and Michigan. And then about 46 years ago, we moved over to Maine and Ferry, where we've been for the last 45 years. My father took over after my grandfather, I took over after my father, and now we're here, 3 generations deep.
So, I mean, what kind of a discussion did you have? Your father say, hey, we got a business here that we'd like you to take over, and you said, well, I don't know, I might want to do.
I despised the business growing up.
Come on.
Back in the 80s, everyone was chain smoking. There was ashtrays on every desk. There's no windows in that place. Paper files. You got paper cuts all over your finger. Phones nonstop ringing. It was crazy. I said, I'm never going to work here. I refused to. Went to college. Got a girlfriend in college. Brought her home. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Went to work for my dad for a little bit to try to figure it out and move on. And just one thing fell into place, and I landed at Willoughby.
So how long have you been doing this now?
This is about my 25th year.
Really?
Yeah.
Still the same girl?
Hell no. No,
All right, you don't have to explain. Yeah. I don't want to get you in trouble. You don't have to square everybody. All right, you're an independent insurance agency. What does that mean?
So as an independent agent, we represent over 15 different insurance companies. So when you call Willoughby, I'm going to shop you through 15 different carriers, if not multiple others, through different channels, and I'm going to find you the best rate based off of who you are and what your variables are. So if you got a speeding ticket, if you had a suspension, if you got a lapse, if you got a perfectly clean record and you live in the suburbs, it doesn't matter who you are. I got carriers that are going to fit everyone. So when you call Willoughby, there's a whole array of carriers that are going to find you the best rate that fits you personally.
So has everybody's rate gone up this year?
Oh, and it's going to go up again next year.
Really?
Guaranteed.
You know, and the other weird thing, there's a new policy or something, an add-on to the policy, I think, in New York State, which is the spousal.
Supplemental spousal liability.
So what is this?
So supplemental spousal liability has been around forever. It's just what it honestly is, I hate saying it, it's New York State taking care of its consumers. New York State is a consumer-oriented state. As the consumer, as a New York taxpayer, you're extremely well protected, and especially when it comes to insurance. It's just like, as a New York State resident, if you have basic liability coverage in New York State, you automatically have rental car liability coverage covered in any one of the 50 states, Puerto Rico, Canada, Mexico. They're doing the same thing with supplemental spousal liability. It's a coverage that's always been around, but a lot of people just don't know about. Now they're making you sign off on it so that you know. Supplemental spousal liability is so that when my wife and I are driving in a car, I get into an accident, I'm at fault. She gets hurt, I get hurt. Insurance is covering my medical bills. I get sued, insurance covers it. She gets hurt, she can't sue me. There's tort law against that. What supplemental spousal liability is, she can sue my insurance policy and get paid for her pain and suffering that I caused as the driver of the vehicle. She can't sue the other guy, I was at fault when I was driving, but she can sue my policy and get reimbursed for pain and suffering that way.
She's probably going to sue you too for that girl that you went out with in high school you don't want to talk about anymore. All right, well, there are challenges that people face. I mean, when I was growing up, and I'm a lot older than you, but when I was growing up, it was, risk pools for people that, were 18, 16, 17, 18, 19, things like that. Is that a big issue now? Is it tough for a young individual to get insurance?
So the risk pool has made an enormous comeback. I am one of the largest writers of the risk pool in New York State. I've always been. That's where Willoughby will when nobody will came from. When you couldn't get insurance, Willoughby could always get you the risk pool no matter what. We took a niche and we ran with it. For the last 10 years, they've been trying to depopulate the risk pool because it's a state-funded insurance operation. So they've raised the rates in the risk pool, and they called all the other carriers and told them, the Geicos, the Progressives, the Liberty, they said, you got to take risk. You got to take the young kids. You got to take this. You got to accept that. And you got to give a good rate for them. And they did. And they all took it on. The pool has been depopulated like crazy. They started laying off all their staff in the risk pool. And then inflation hit. And when inflation hit, it now costs more than 3 times the amount 2 years ago to fix a car. Your standard fender bender in New York State 2 years ago was about $4,200 and 3 days in the garage, and you were back in the car on Monday, 3 days later. Today, it's over $12,000 and over 30 days in the garage, waiting to get repaired, loaner cars, waiting for parts coming from overseas, chip delays. It's absurd. These carriers are getting beaten up, and they can't charge the Geico, Progressive, Liberties, all your preferred carriers. They can't charge 3 times as much rate. The state won't allow them to. They're taking incremental rate increases of 6, 8, 10, 12% at a time, and they keep applying for more, and they keep getting them. I got an email. My largest carrier, Progressive, is going up on September 22nd, in 2 days. They're taking another rate increase. They just keep filing and keep getting them. They can't raise their rates fast enough to get to the point where they're profitable again. They're losing money, they're all bleeding, and they all stop taking business. Every one of them. They're blocking as much business as they can block right now, and they're all calling me, and I'm putting them all in the risk pool. I've written over $5 million in the risk pool year to date. It's absurd how much money I put into that risk pool in premium, because no one else will take them right now. Nobody else wants them. If you don't have prior insurance, if you got one accident, 95%, 97% of the market won't even answer your phone call.
All right, we've got about a minute left in this segment. You're promoting the Willoughby Challenge. What exactly is that?
I mean, challenge me to shop your rate and find you a better rate than everyone else out there.
So people should give you a call.
Oh, it's worth the call. Yeah, I'm going to do my best for you. If I can't beat you this time, I'll get a better rate for you hopefully in 6 months or a year from now when you call back. I got so many carriers. I got the risk pool, which 99% of the market doesn't have. I can get you coverage, usually at a better rate than what you got. Not always, but usually.
Willoughby will when nobody will.
One of those few guarantees you're going to get in life.
Craig Willoughby, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For more information and answers to your questions, contact Willoughby Insurance by calling 716-885-8100 or go to willoughbyinsurance.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the following.